Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be doing a awesome deck update, as you can see by today's playmat, of my Nordic deck. But fair warning to all of my fellow duelists out there, if while playing this deck you start having voices in your head and start seeing visions of Odin and are suddenly transported to Asgard and find yourself back in ancient times rowing and in charge of a Viking ship, you may be playing a different game. You may be playing Assassin's Creed. So be careful, especially playing a Nordic deck. But all jokes aside, guys, today we'll get into this deck profile. Like I said, it's one of my favorite decks to play. I definitely like the deck a lot. I have definitely retooled it, as you can probably see a little bit there, for the current era. And without further ado, let us get into today's deck profile. So I will say there are different variations of playing Nordics. This variation kind of uses the beast mode, I guess you could say the beast engine of the deck, to really propel it into having a little bit more consistency, I find. There are different ways you can build your Nordic deck, but this is what's been working for me, and it's been working out pretty well. So first off, we run 3 Vanitas of the Nordic Ascent. This can help you go for a multitude of different Azure monsters, so to speak. Odin particularly, but it also is going to help you go for Loki in some instances, but mainly Odin. Yes, it does take some setup, but I find that it's much better. I also run 2 Gilfax of the Nordic beasts, which we are going to abuse not just for helping go for Thor, but also in addition to that abusing it because it's a level 4 tuner, for just going for generic level 8 synchro plays and some other just generic monster plays as well. Now, some people may be asking, where is the Valkyrie card, which people like to say instantly helps you go into Odin. I will be honest, that card I do not find to be really as good as people think from playtesting and from playing duels with it, because it takes a lot of effort to utilize that card. If it gets negated, you're not going to be having a good time. I just don't like that card in this deck. If you want to run the card, be my guest, but it takes setup. If it gets negated, you're going to be up the creek without a paddle, and it's a lot of bang, but you have to pay a lot of bang too. So just saying that. But I like these as my main tuners for the deck, and they work out pretty well. The Vanitas and the Nordic Beast. We also run 3 lves of the Nordic Alfair. This goes along with your main link monster for the deck, which we are going to be using, which is Gilfried. Excuse me, not Gilfried. I cannot pronounce these Nordic monsters. This thing, the fairy, which is going to be helping you go for this, which is going to make going for bringing out your bigger synchro monsters much more easier. But Alvis is going to be helping you out with that. Forgive me if I mispronounce my Nordic monsters' names. They're sometimes get a little bit hard to pronounce. Next, we run 3 Tengersneer and Tengnersneer. I call them just the yin-yang goats for short. These work very well together in the deck. They're still very useful to help you go for your multiple of synchro plays. So Tengersneer and Tengnersneer. Pretty much the cool thing is you can bring them out if one gets destroyed by the other, pretty much. So if you guys don't know, if a monster you control will be destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can change it from defense position from defense position to attack position, and special summon 1 Nordic Beast monster from your deck in defense position. So pretty much you can bring him out if something gets destroyed, then you can switch this from attack to defense, then you can go bring out this, which creates tokens, and then you can go off from there by bringing out a tuner monster, depending upon the situation. So these 2 work very well together. We're going to be abusing these cards with one of the cards we have in the deck to make it easy to get these guys out, because they can not be just used to go for your synchro monsters, but for just other synchro monsters, just not the Nordic monsters, which is really nice. So, yep, we run 3 of each of the Yin Yang goats. Then we run 2 Mimir of the Nordic Ascent, which is a pretty good card in its own right. It's just a good 2 of in the deck to run. Some people like running it as a 3 of because it's really good, useful to help go for to use as synchro fodder for your big synchro monsters. But I prefer it as a 2 of. I find that 3 of is a little bit too much. But that's up to you to decide how you want to use this. But he's mainly in here to help you use as synchro fodder because of the ease you can bring him out. Next, I run 3 Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat is something I like in this deck. Some people do not like it. Some people like it. Rescue Cat's very useful in this deck because of the uses you can use Rescue Cat for, especially for your Tengner Sneer and your Tenger Sneer, because of the ease you can bring these bad boys out. The main things you want to keep in mind with Rescue Cat is it's going to really help you abuse the goats a lot more than you normally would, and I like that for that reason. The goats can be are pretty much your backbone for going for your synchro plays before we even had the newer support. And while that new support is very good, and I will not deny that, I wanted some consistency in getting the goats out and get them going. So I like Rescue Cat in the deck. It's very useful utility-wise, so that's why I like Rescue Cat in the deck as a 3 of. It's very abusable, so to speak. Next we run double Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk is just generic to have. You do have some spells in your deck that sometimes they can become dead, so to speak, so it's okay to pitch them to bring cards out. I don't like Summoner Monk as a 3 of, because while I said some of these spells can get a little bit bricky, a lot of times they can be very powerful changing spells that are going to do a lot for your deck. So Summoner Monk can help tutor certain things out from your deck that you need to go off with certain plays. I like it for that reason more, but it's not essential. Next we run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Springs. I wanted a little bit of hand traps in the deck just because hand traps are pretty much generic nowadays, where you need to run them in your main deck if you can. Now you can run whatever hand traps you want to. You want to run Effect Failure, you run Effect Failure. You want to run Drill and Lock, you run Drill and Lock. You run whatever you feel like, guys. I like Ash Blossom, like I've always said. It's generic. It hits just about every deck out there under the sun. Next up, I run 3 Heirs Sunrock. A lot of people like this card as a 2 of. Like I said, this deck is going to be more predicated on going for the Beast Engine a little bit more because of Rescue Cat. But Heirs Sunrock is going to work wonders for you with a multitude of your different monsters in the deck. Be it your Rescue Cat, be it either one of your Yin Yang Goats, which is nice, and also being that you can abuse Gilfax even more, which is really awesome because this is going to be one of your main tuners, like I said, for going for just generic synchro plays. And this also is going to help you out a lot by bringing it back. Plus, you can lower your opponent's attack. The ease I find with this build of the deck compared to other builds, and the reason I run it as a 3 of, especially, is because of how often you're going to have beast monsters engraved that you want to bring back. If it wasn't for that, I probably would run it as a 2 of, but it's pretty much predicated on the fact of, do you want to run Rescue Cat or do you not want to run Rescue Cat? If you're not running Rescue Cat, this is a 2 of, not a 3 of, but that's up to you to decide. But I just want to make that very clear. And if it's dead, you can pitch it with Summoner Monk. Next we run 3 Hippo Carnival. You may be saying to yourself, whoa, 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 that is not a Nordic card. But yeah, Hippo Carnival really is going to help you go for your synchro plays much more easier. I find that it's a very good staple 3 of in this deck. I didn't think so initially. I will be the first to admit that. But from playtesting and practicing with this deck, it's a staple 3 of in my opinion nowadays. It will really help you out. Next we run some one-ofs. We run 1 Call by the Grave to help protect ourselves from hand traps. 1 Upstart Goblin, make it a 39 card deck, give it a little bit more of consistency, that's perfectly fine. Foolish Burial is going to help you out in a ton of different situations by setting things up in the graveyard for certain combo plays and certain plays in general, so I like Foolish in the deck. And lastly, 1 Monster Reborn. Yes, we have Heirs Sunrock, but Monster Reborn is very generic. It's going to help you out in a multitude of different ways, so that's your generic spell package right there we're going to run. For your traps, we run, I actually cannot decide if I like the secret or the ultra rare. So I run the secret and the ultra rare on purpose. I'm just saying that. But 3 Guilford of the Fritters of Fenrir. I butchered that name and I know it. But this is pretty much your Rhoda for the deck. You get to add 1 Nordic monster from your deck to your hand. It is a trap, yes, but you can bluff with it. People sometimes think you're running Floodgates for some reason. It's happened quite often. And then you can just chain it and then get a search off. Next, I also run 3 Infinite Impermanents. While they are very powerful, yes, they are very big. Yes, overall, I will say that they're very nice to have. You do want some effect negation, I find, in this deck. And so I'm running 3 Infinite Impermanents in the deck to help give you a little bit of effect negation, which is nice to have, I find, overall in the deck. Let's get on to the extra deck now. So first off, we'll run 3 Odin, Father of the Aesir. We're running double of him. I do like the 1 ultimate. And then we're also running 1 double Thor and 1 Loki over here. So pretty much you're running double of these if people have always asked. Yes, sometimes you do go for double, but it's also for your link play and also because of your lves. The card we were talking about earlier that came out last year, your lves over here, because its effect. So that's why we run these ratios here. You don't need more than 1 Loki. I find that Thor and Odin are the primary ones you're going to go for. Loki is there. Yes, Loki you will go for sometimes, but these are going to be the primary ones you're going to go for. I also decided to run just some generic level 10s as well because it was just very advantageous to do so because of the requirements of these sometimes. So I'm just running some generic level 10s. I'm running pretty much Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Trees, which is still a decent card I find even nowadays, and Ascension the Sky Dragon, which is pretty decent in its own right as well to run. We're also running a level 7 in Black Rose Dragon. You will sometimes go for this because you just need to nuke the freaking field. In addition to that, we're running Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend, which is going to just be a good generic level 8, as well as Omega, and as well as BLs, which you can easily go for BLs in this deck. Do not forget that. You can go for BLs. But these are just generic level 8s that I was mentioning to you about, which are just pretty good overall. We also run 3 Gilfang, is it Gilvig of the Nordic Ascent. There you go. I said it right that time. 3 Gilvig of the Nordic Ascent. Would you say, do you need 3? Yeah, I'm going to say you're going to need 3. I find myself going for 2 to 3 usually per duel with Gilvig. And also 1 Needle Fiber because this is a synchro-based deck, and Needle Fiber you will find yourself going for fairly often. So Needle Fiber is definitely a necessity, I feel like, in this version of the deck. So hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I know I went very quickly through this deck, but it's pretty straightforward, guys. There's nothing really super complicated with it. It's Nordics. You're going to go for big bad boys. That's the way this deck is always run. You're going to go for these big bad boys. You can go for other cards as well. And you're going to focus on going for a lot of... It's a synchro-based deck as well. So that's something to keep in mind. There are other cards you can run in the deck, which I just want to take a minute to discuss about and just talk about for a second, because I know some people may be asking. I talked about the Valkyrie card. I'm not a big fan of that, but there are some other cards you can run in the deck. Time Lord, the Time Lord Synchro is something I was considering running, but I wanted to run Leo and the other ones and run some more level 8s. So this is something you could try out in the deck. Some people also run some other cards. They'll run maybe triple Odin, triple Thor. You could run your basic package of your Nightmare package, which is something you can run, like Cerberus, Unicorn, and Phoenix. This is something you could also run in the extra deck. Main deck wise, I find the deck is fairly good. It just depends on the route you want to take it. Do you want to go down the beast route, or do you want to go for something else per se? It's up to you to decide. But for me, this is what's been working for me, and it's been working out pretty well. So hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos. And until next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling to all of you, go Nordics, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you.